They say time heals all wounds, but some wounds never close. This is the story of a mother who lost her son and waited 30 years to see him again. Her name was Margaret Hill. She lived in a small town in Georgia, a quiet place where everyone knew each other. She was a single mother, raising her only child, Michael. Michael was just 6 years old, full of life, always asking questions, always smiling. He was her reason to wake up every morning. On the evening of September 12th, 1989, Margaret took Michael to the local fair. It was their tradition: rides, cotton candy, and watching the fireworks. The sun had just set when Michael asked for one last ride on the carousel. Margaret let him go and stood nearby, watching his laughter fill the air. But when the ride stopped, Michael was gone. At first, she thought he had run to the game stalls. Then she thought maybe he went to the food stand. But within minutes, panic set in. She searched everywhere, calling his name, but there was no answer. The police were called. Witnesses said they saw a man holding Michael's hand, walking towards the parking lot. There were no security cameras back then, no cell phones, only a vague description of a tall man with a beard and a red pickup truck. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The case grew cold. Margaret never stopped searching. She put up posters, knocked on doors, and even hired private investigators, but every lead ended in heartbreak. By the year 2000, most people told her to move on, but Margaret couldn't. She kept Michael's room exactly as it was: the toys, the books, the tiny bedspread with cartoon rockets. Every night she sat by the window, staring at the road, hoping one day he would walk back home. Then, in 2019, Margaret received a phone call. A young man in another state had taken a DNA test for fun. The results matched with Margaret's distant relatives. That young man's name was Michael Hill. Michael had been kidnapped by a man named Robert Kane. Robert had raised him, telling him his real mother had died in an accident. Michael grew up believing Robert was his father. But when Robert passed away, Michael found old papers hidden in a box, birth certificates, newspaper clippings about his own disappearance. Shocked, he took the DNA test, and that test led him back to Margaret. The reunion happened in Margaret's living room. When Michael stepped inside, she froze. He was no longer the little boy she remembered. He was a grown man, 36 years old. But his eyes, those same bright eyes, were still her Michael. Margaret walked up to him, trembling, and whispered, "My baby." Michael hugged her, and for the first time in 30 years, Margaret cried tears of joy. Michael now lives just a few miles away from her. They spend every Sunday together, making up for the years they lost. Margaret knows she can't get back the time that was stolen, but she's grateful for every moment they have now. Because sometimes miracles take a lifetime, but they're still worth the wait.